The things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen.
Here at Forbes, you can see that readers are very impressed with their material, old and young, and even single mothers. Let's hear what this single mother says about Forbes.
I should have read Forbes.
Let's see what our younger generation thinks about Forbes.
Nice and maybe show it naturally.
Who likes it? Let's hear what our older readers say about Forbes. Tell me, sir, what do you think about Forbes? Any words? As you can see, our readers love Forbes, and also the material that they read. The information that's distributed to our readers are so important that it can actually help you in the workplace. And also, as you saw with the single mother, can help you catapult your career in the right direction. One thing or one problem with today's project teams or workplace environments is that they don't know how to lead them correctly. And they don't know how to arrive at decisions because it's virtual. There's no face-to-face communication. Also, they build trust differently, and they also communicate differently. So, a few things about that, and what Emily Meyer discussed in this article that she had actually written for Forbes, is that when you lead, more clarity, and there can be little ambiguity within the group. Also, team leaders have to have formalized roles and responsibilities when starting their own group. You must arrive at decisions differently. Teams don't work the same everywhere, especially virtual teams are usually used in international organizations or international business. So you're trained to solicit input from a team, choose a direction, and you need to choose a direction quickly. You need to make adjustments as a project moves forward. It works, but then so do other methods. In Sweden, teams learn to make decisions through lengthy consensus building, which can span many meetings, but eventually leads to a strong buy-in and rapid implementation. In France, inspired education systems teach the debate and confrontation are necessary elements of any decision-making process, even virtually. So in Emily's research, she found that one of the most difficult tasks for leaders of global teams is to recognize that your styles of decision-making may be deeply rooted in the cultures that they come from. Also, trust is a big component. Trust takes on a whole new meaning in virtual teams. So you must meet with your workmates by the water cooler or photocopier every day, or when you usually do. You instinctively know who you can trust and who you can't. But it's very different when it's virtual.
So let's go more in depth with the different types of meetings created by informational technology. There are 4 different kinds. The first one is STDP. The second one is STSP. The third one is DTSP. And the fourth one is DTDP. So the first one stands for same time, different place meetings. An example of this would be like video conferencing. The second one is STSP, which stands for same time, same place. These type of meetings, an example of that would probably be face-to-face meeting. DTSP stands for different time, same place meetings. An example of this would be like computer database systems like the internet, email. And DTDP stands for different time, different place meetings. An example of this type of meeting would be intranet bulletin board.
I wanted to talk to you today about virtual team pitfalls. One of the larger companies that we know of that was a pioneer in this particular field was Hewlett-Packard. Hewlett-Packard began using virtual teams back in the 1980s and decided to slow down use of these particular types of teams based on issues that they were seeing and pitfalls that they were experiencing within the company. So one of these big pitfalls that Hewlett-Packard noticed was what they called lack of MBWA, which is management by wandering around. So what that means is that Hewlett-Packard found employees are more likely to have open and honest communication when they are doing their everyday tasks, such as going to get water, going to the vending machines, standing by the elevator, waiting for the elevator, whatever the case may be, versus having these types of conversations in a formalized setting such as a virtual meeting room or in a face-to-face meeting room. So with virtual teams, it presented a challenge for that particular company because they did not have the ability to have these sidebar conversations with employees that tended to be more open and honest and focus more on strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats, or SWOT, as we like to call it. So,
when it comes to virtual teams, there's a number of ways to operate. Yet on the other hand, there's also a number of ways to fail. The first way to fail is a lack of clear goals, direction, and priorities. This lack of clear goals, directions, and priorities is a huge problem because when using virtual teams, members are not usually in the same vicinity, and then it becomes difficult to keep team goals in mind. The second pitfall is lack of clearly defined roles within the team. This particular pitfall is challenging because members are oftentimes unsure of what assignments they are in charge of. The third pitfall is a lack of cooperation and trust. This could quite possibly be the most challenging pitfall because a functional team requires trust of each member. Finally, the last pitfall is lack of engagement. Being a member of a virtual team makes you the boss of your own time, and it becomes easy to get distracted or lose motivation when dictating your own schedule. Not having people to meet with physically or turn in work with a boss on time causes people to forget their such high
Good evening, everyone. I would like to speak with you a little bit more about managing virtual teams. As we saw as an answer on Jeopardy, that periodic face-to-face meetings are the first step in having an effective virtual team. The second step is using instant communication channels. These communication channels could be things such as Skype or Instant Messenger. Third, we want to develop social norms and norms for our team. We want to make sure that everyone is operating under the same assumptions and that they're given all the tools possible and to work together and to make the most effective team possible. Fourth, we want to train our people. We want to make sure that they all know what they're doing and that they're on the same playing field. Some people may not have ever been in a virtual team before, and we want to make sure that they are prepared. And lastly, it's all about pointing the right leadership. With the right leaders, they can take your virtual team to the next level and make sure that they succeed and that they deliver the best information possible and get the project done. Thank you for watching Jeopardy this evening. I'm Jordan Holt, and I approve this message.